Hamburgers. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst things that have happened to Butters Stotch.
Everyone knows it's Butters.
Well, that's me.
For this list, we're looking at the worst things that have happened to South Park's most optimistic yet unfortunate resident, Leopold Stoch, also known as Butters. Now, pay attention or else you're all grounded.
I'm grounded for looking stupid in my school picture.
But dude, you gotta see, it's hysterical.
Butters can't come out and play, boys. He thinks it's funny to look like a jackass in his school pictures that I have to pay for.
Number 10, being bullied by his grandma. Butters is sweeter than butterscotch candy, but the rest of his family is beyond sour.
What's up? Huh? You think you're tough, huh?
I just don't want you to pick on me no more, Grandma.
While it's debatable which family member is the most despicable, Butters' grandma takes the most delight in seeing him suffer. Although she appears nurturing on the surface, Grandma Stotch verbally and physically bullies Butters when nobody's looking.
No, Grandma, knock it off. No, stop it.
Put it in your mouth.
This torment ranges from taking Butters' lunch money to giving him gummy bears. Not even Professor Chaos is a match for this granny. After beating up Dr. Oz, Butters summons the courage to get real with his grandma. As blunt as his words might be, Butters also expresses pity for his grandma, telling her that she's empty inside and will die soon. You know, even when he's bitter, Butters comes off as fairly sweet.
And when you're laying in that hospital bed with tubes up your nose and that little pan under your butt to pee in, I'll come visit you. I'll come just to show you that I'm still alive and I'm still happy. And you'll die, being nothing but you.
Number 9, receiving treatment for seeing ghosts. Butters is no stranger to hospitals, having wound up in critical condition after being tormented by Trent Boyette.
What happened to him, Doctor?
From the test results, it would appear your child was tortured by a bully. He received a massive snuggie. His underwear pulled up so high it nearly killed him.
His most horrific hospital experience, however, has to be this trip to a mental institution. Convinced that Cartman is a ghost and he's the only one who can see him, Butters undergoes severe tests to uncover any past trauma. Ironically, the treatment leaves him far more scared than he was before checking in.
Butters. Ah! Don't worry, Butters. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Please leave me alone, Eric. My bottom is really sore.
Making matters worse, Cartman keeps haunting Butters until it's revealed he's still alive.
You told me I was a ghost!
But I thought you were one.
How stupid are you?
Number 8, being sold to Paris Hilton by his parents. Butters' parents are usually at the root of his misfortune.
You are grounded, mister!
I'm sorry.
And of all the terrible things they've done to their son, this is undoubtedly among the most bizarre. Seeing Butters dressed as a bear with Paris Hilton, Stephen and Linda's first instinct is to ground him as per usual. The two have a change of tune when they remember how much money Paris is worth, but not even they would sell their child to her. That is, not for anything less than $250 million.
While your offer is enticing, I'm afraid we just can't sell you our son for $200 million. It'll have to be $250 million, cash, up front.
Oh, hamburgers!
Upon learning what happened to Paris's other pets, Butters rightfully makes a break for it. The deal is taken off the table when Paris finds a new residence inside Mr. Slave, but Butters is still grounded for his trouble.
Well, Butters, I hope you're happy.
I'm a bad bear. I'm a very bad old bear.
You're a grounded old bear.
Number 7, being forced to gain weight. Kenny used to die in almost every episode, and when Butters temporarily took his place in season 6, he too was regularly put in hazardous situations.
That's my whole point. First we fatten him up, then we make the deal with City Walk, then take the weight back off.
For starters, the boys made him gain an unhealthy amount of weight as part of a get-rich-quick scheme. When Butters can't lose weight fast enough, they perform totally unsafe and illegal liposuction surgery in his living room.
I don't feel very good.
Shut up, Butters. It's your own damn fault.
Everything's getting dark.
We gotta hurry this up.
After getting abandoned by his so-called friends mid-surgery, Butters is scorned by his parents, who won't even help their visibly unwell son up to his room.
Don't you give us that look, young man. You're gonna get it.
If you think there's nowhere to go but up after this ordeal, guess again. Cartman later impersonates Butters on the phone with his parents, resulting in a beating that, while taking place off-screen, was clearly brutal.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Don't you hi, Mom and Dad, us, you little punk!
Oh, Dad.
You don't even know the trouble you're in, mister!
What'd I do? What'd I do?
Do you think you're tough now? Answer me!
Number 6, being sent to a conversion therapy camp. Through a series of misunderstandings, Stephen catches an oblivious Butters with his mouth in range of Cartman's crotch.
Oh my God, my only son reduced to this!
Even though Stephen has done his fair share of experimenting, he decides to send Butters to a conversion therapy camp for bi-curious boys. It goes about as well as you'd expect. The more Butters is told he's just confused, the more confused he becomes.
What's wrong? This is what makes you confused! Don't you get it? This is confusing you right now, isn't it?
Yes, it's all very confusing.
As bad as we feel for Butters throughout this episode, we feel even worse for his accountability Bradley and all the other boys being repressed at the camp. While Butters doesn't entirely understand what's going on, he nonetheless gives an empowering speech that shows Bradley it's okay to be yourself. And the only ones who are really confused are the counselors.
You know what I think? I think maybe you're the ones who are confused.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be confused anymore just because you say I should be. My name is Butters. I'm 8 years old, I'm blood type O, and I'm bi-curious.
Number 5, being forced to fake his own demise. To infiltrate Heidi's slumber party, one of the boys must fake his death and go undercover as a girl.
One of us is going to have to go undercover. Show up in school tomorrow disguised as the new girl who just moved to town.
Since Kenny dies constantly, you'd think he'd be the natural choice, but instead, Butters draws the short straw. As their son stands atop a building, Stephen and Linda don't help the situation by saying that they'll only ground him for a couple of weeks if he comes down.
Butters? Butters, whatever's troubling you, this isn't the answer. Look at all these people who've come out for you. Just come down now, son, and we promise we won't ground you for more than a couple weeks.
As awful as Butters' parents are, they are heartbroken when the pig cadaver standing in for their son hits the pavement. This grief leads them to resurrect Butters' Pet Cemetery style. When Butters shows up alive and well, his parents assume they've created a monster and chain him in the basement where he can eat.
Can I please just have something to eat? Well, I'm pretty hungry.
It's hungry. Yes, it must feed.
Number 4, being tricked into believing it's the apocalypse. Besides his parents, a majority of Butters' misery stems from Cartman.
We've got to find a bomb shelter.
Where is there a bomb shelter?
Stan's Uncle Jimbo. He has a bomb shelter in his backyard. Come on, Butters, hurry!
To take his place at Kyle's birthday, Cartman informs Butters that a meteor is on a collision course for Earth and tricks him into hiding in a bomb shelter. Cartman has to keep up the charade longer than expected, making Butters think that the world has ended and everyone he's ever loved is gone.
Butters!
Ah!
Butters! Oh God, it was horrible.
What happened?
The meteor struck the Earth sooner than I predicted. There was no time.
All the while, Butters' parents and the rest of the town are sent into a panic. When Butters finally learns what's really going on, the duped expression on his face is both one of the funniest and one of the saddest things you'll ever see.
Town is right over there, everybody is fine, and I think they've been looking for you for over a week.
And we'd just like to reiterate that Cartman did all of this just to go to a restaurant.
Was it worth it?
Totally.
Number 3, living with tap dancing trauma. Being a victim is one thing, but living with the guilt of accidentally hurting others can also be traumatic. In this episode, we learn that Butters was once a tap dancing champion, but he vowed never to perform again after a tragedy. The tragedy in question saw Butters' shoe fly off mid-performance, causing a gore-filled accident that claimed 8 lives. Well, 11 if you want to get technical. After years of feeling remorse, Butters is given the confidence to put his tap shoes back on and compete again. So what happens the minute he steps back into the spotlight? History repeats itself and the rival dance team perishes. The good news? South Park wins by default. The bad news? Butters is more emotionally scarred than ever.
That means the winner is the South Park Diggities! Woo! Yeah!
All right, we did it.
Number 2, getting a ninja star thrown in his eye. Typically, it's Kenny who would find himself with a ninja star in his eye. In this case, though, it's Kenny who throws the weapon at Butters. While Butters miraculously survives and isn't permanently blinded, the pain he endures throughout the episode is more than we can bear.
The hell did you do that for, Kenny?
As if the initial blow isn't agonizing enough, the boys cook up a half-baked scheme to dodge trouble by dressing Butters up as a dog. Believe it or not, the plan works, and all the medical professionals in town mistake Butters for a canine.
Right over here. Good dog. Come on. There you go. Right in there. Good dog.
Well, what do you expect from people who can't tell the difference between a boy and a squirrel?
The giant squirrel, which was picked up last week by animal control, apparently now thinks it's a person.
Nobody is punished for hurting Butters, but Cartman does have to answer for his wardrobe malfunction.
You see the damage you've caused, Eric Cartman? What were you thinking?
I told you it was a wardrobe malfunction.
Well, every group of friends needs a punching bag, right? Well, is there anything else that could possibly happen to this poor unfortunate soul? Yes, and it's our number 1. So let's look through some honorable or dishonorable mentions, and then we'll find out the worst thing to ever happen to Leopold Butters Stotch.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, Tracy, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm getting all my Twitter and Instagram comments on paper, and the nasty, mean stuff all gets edited out.
Here it goes. Good morning, fellas. All set to go skiing? What's so funny? Oh, no! No!
Okay, thank you, Butters. Very nice. Short and sweet.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Being left to drown by his mother. Butters' first standalone episode is also probably his darkest. While Butters' tragic home life had previously been hinted at, this one took things to depraved new territory.
Inspector Butters gets all the facts. I even got some neato pictures.
Finding out that Stephen, or Chris as he was originally called, has been going to a gay bathhouse, a distressed Linda prepares to take her own life.
I'm going to get out of the car now, Butters. I want you to stay put with your seatbelt fastened.
Oh, well, all right, Mom.
While Butters makes it out alive and Linda quickly regrets her actions, this doesn't change the fact that she attempted to drown her son. Even after confessing on television, however, there are no ramifications whatsoever. South Park has the worst child protective services ever, and Butters is Exhibit A.
Yeah. Wait, what? Jesus Christ!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.